students, myself Bhavani Pentela, working as an assistant professor in Noida Institute of Engineering and Technology, Pharmacy Institute, Greater Noida. In this lecture, I am going to cover the drugs used for constipation and diarrhea and appetite stimulants. So, without any further delay, we will move into the class. So, what are the constipations? The constipation is a drug. So, if you see here, the constipation is defined by having the hard and dry bowel movements. So, constipation, when you can term the particular person having the constipation, if any person having the dry and hard stools or hard bowel movements and who is not going fewer than 3 times per week. Okay, if any person is not going fewer than 3 times per week, if the person who is not going less than 3 times or less than 3 times per week, then the particular patient, you can call the particular patient is suffering from the constipation. The constipation is defined who having the hard and dry bowel movements. Okay. So, in such a condition you can use the laxatives. Laxatives are the drugs which will promote the defecation. So, here you can use in a constipation, to treat the constipation you can use the laxatives and purgatives. What is the difference between the laxatives and purgatives? Laxatives are the drugs which having the mild in action, purgatives are the drugs which having strong in action. So, this is the mild difference between the laxatives and purgatives, but most of the drugs in a low dose it can act as a laxative and in a high dose it can act as a purgative. So, both these laxatives and purgatives are used to treat the constipation. Okay, these are the drugs which are used to treat the constipation. What are the drugs which can use it to treat the constipation? Laxatives and purgatives. How it will treat the constipation? It will increases or it will promote the defecation. Okay. Many of the drugs at low dose it can act as a laxative and at high dose it can act as a purgative. Okay, next we will move to the classification. So, by the classification you can understand what are the drugs falls under this category. So, these are all the drugs which are used to treat the constipation. So, what are the drugs used to treat the constipation? Bulk forming drugs, okay, stool softeners, stimulant purgatives, osmotic purgatives. There are the 4 types of categories to treat the constipation. Let me see here. So, first one is bulk forming agents. So, bulk forming agent, this is the first classification of constipation. Second one is stool softener, it will soften the stools. Okay. Third one is stimulant purgatives and fourth one is osmotic purgatives. So, these are the drugs which are used to treat the constipation. If I am talking about the bulk forming drugs, dietary fibers. So, here you will use the dietary fibers like a bran, okay, nifagula. So, lot of drugs, methyl cellulase are used to treat the use it as a bulk forming drugs. Next one, stool softeners. In stool softeners you can use the DOSS, liquid paraffin. So, liquid paraffin is a drug which can causes the stool softener. And next one, stimulant purgatives. Stimulant purgatives is further classified into 4 types. What are the? Diphenylmethynes, anthraquinones, 5-HT agonist drugs and fixed oils. So, these are the 4 categories which falls under stimulant purgatives. What are the 4 categories falls under stimulant purgatives? Diphenylmethynes, first one. Second one is anthraquinones. Third one is 5-HT4. 5-HT, what is mean by 5-HT? 5-hydroxytryptamine. What the 4 represent? 5-hydroxytryptamine 4. So, the 5-hydroxytryptamine having the 7 types of receptor 5-HT1, 5-HT2, T3, T4. So, this is an 5-HT4 agonist drug. So, 5-HT4 agonist drugs comes under stimulant purgatives. And next one, fixed oil. So, diphenylmethynes. So, diphenylmethynes ke examples. What are the examples falls under diphenylmethynes? What is the drug? Phenolphthalein. So, phenolphthalein is a drug which falls under diphenylmethynes. Okay. Next, anthraquinones, senna, cascara. So, all these drugs falls under anthraquinones. In fixed oil you can use the castor oil, and 5-HT agonist drugs are also used to treat the constipation. And the last one is osmotic purgatives. Osmotic purgatives are also drugs which are used to treat the constipation. So, which drugs falls under the osmotic purgatives? Magnesium salts, sodium salts and lactulose. So, these are the salts which falls under osmotic. These are the salts, these are the solutions which having the osmotic purgative action. So, to treat the constipation you can use the bulk forming drugs, stool softeners, stimulant purgatives and osmotic purgatives. These are the 4 categories which are used to treat the constipation. And now we will move to the mode of action. Mode of action, how the drugs will decreases the constipation, how the drugs will shows its mechanism of action, how it will decreases the constipation, how it will relieve the constipation, we will see in detail here. So, we will see the mode of action of a constipation drugs. Whenever you had taken the purgative drugs, it will increases the water content of feces. What the purgative drugs will do here? The purgatives are the drugs which will increases the water content of feces. How it will increases the water content of feces? It will increases the water content of feces by retaining the water and electrolyte in the intestine. How it will increases the water content of feces? It will increases the water content of feces by retaining the water and electrolyte in the intestine. By retaining the water and electrolyte in the intestine, what is going to happen? Here it can produce the moisture and lubricant to the stool. By producing the moisture and lubricant to the stool, now the stool will become the softener. Now, because of this reason, the stool will get softener and which can easily propelled, and finally it will shows finally it is a drug which is used to treat the constipation. The constipation problem will be get treated. So, repeating one more time how these drugs will act, how it will shows its mechanism of action. Okay. So, these drugs will increases the water content of feces by retaining water and electrolyte in the intestine. By retaining of this water and electrolyte in the intestine, what is going to happen? It will increases or it will produces the moisture or lubricant to the stools. Okay, by producing the moisture and lubricant to the stools, what is going to happen? Here now the stool will become softened. By this reason, the stool will become softened and which can be easily propelled, which can be easily passed from the body. So, by such a way, these are the drugs are used to treat the constipation. So, now we will see one by one drug. First one is dietary fibers. Among these dietary fibers, this is a first line approach for constipation. Dietary fibers are the first line approach for the constipation because these are the non-absorbable form. It do not produces any toxicity in the body. If the drug didn't absorb in the body, it cannot show its toxicity. So, this is a first line drug, but the disadvantage of this drug was after ingestion of the dietary fiber, 12 to 34 hours, after of 12 to 34 hours, it will shows its action. It will release the constipation action. Okay. So, these are the agent, it will shows its action by the physical property. How the dietary fibers will release the constipation? It will release the constipation by its physical property. Whenever you had taken this drug, it will shows after 12 to 34 hours ingestion. So, after 12 to 34 hours, these dietary fibers will shows desired effect to treat the constipation. So, just now I had said you, it do not absorb in the body, so no systemic toxicity. The bran consists of 40% of dietary fiber. So, bran will comes under the dietary fiber. It is an example, falls under dietary fiber. If I am talking about bran, it consists of approximately 40% of dietary fiber. And what is the mechanism of action of this dietary fiber? Whenever you had taken the dietary fiber, it will absorb the water in the intestine. Whenever it absorbs the water from the intestine, it will increases the water content of the feces and it becomes and it softens the stools. Liquid paraffin. Liquid paraffin is a second type of a drug. Okay, it is widely used. It is a second type of category, falls under stool softeners. Okay, so liquid paraffin is a drug which will soft the stools. Okay, so this liquid paraffin is widely used as a stool softener. It is a non-toxic. It is a non-toxic, but it repeatedly may causes the deficiency of some vitamins like A, D, and K. So normally it is if you are taken in a therapeutic dose, it is a non-toxic. But if you are using prolonged therapy or if you are using in a continuously therapy, then what is going to happen? It will decreases the absorption of some vitamins. Which type of vitamins they are? Vitamin A, vitamin K, and vitamin D. So, these are the drugs which are given orally at the bedtime. So, these are the drugs, liquid paraffin, which is used as a stool softeners. Okay. And next one is diacetyl sodium sulfosuccinate. So, diacetyl sodium sulfosuccinate, basically this drug is a dispersing drug. Which type of drug it is? It is a dispersing drug. It acts, it will shows its action by the physical property lowering the surface tension. So, how it will shows how it will release the constipation? By the physical property, by relieving the surface tension. By relieving of this surface tension, it can use it to treat the constipation. It is normally it is a dispersing agent. It do not stimulate the peristalsis. And next one, stimulant and osmotic purgatives. Stimulant and osmotic purgatives are the drugs where it will use it to treat the constipation. If you see the stimulant purgatives or osmotic purgatives, these are the drugs which are falls under to treat the constipation. So, these are the drugs which are used to treat the constipation. How the stimulant purgatives will treat the constipation by the irritation action, by the irritation of an intestinal mucosa, by making this irritation of an intestinal mucosa, it will shows the it will release the constipation action and it will stimulate the motor function. First it will irritate the gastric mucosa and thus it will stimulate the motor function. So, finally, it will produces the constipation in action. So, if you see here phenolphthalein, okay, phenolphthalein, which type of drug it is? Phenolphthalein. Phenolphthalein is a diphenyl methane drug. So, in stimulant purgatives we are having 4 subtypes, diphenyl. What are the 4 subtypes? Diphenyl methanes, anthraquinones, right, 5-HT4 agonist drugs and fixed oils. So, this is the drugs falls under diphenyl methanes. So, this is the drug which is not recommended morely because of its carcinogenic action. So, this is the drug which can produces the carcinogenic action. So, this is the drug which is not recommended nowadays. The only drawback of Cascara is an anthraquinone drug. So, only drawback of this Cascara was it will produces the excessive purgation and gripping. Okay. And next one, osmotic purgatives. Osmotic purgatives are the unabsorbable salts or unabsorbable solutes or unabsorbable sugars. So, these are the so whatever it may be the salt, solutes or the sugars, these are the substances whenever you had taken, this will increases the lubricant property of an stool. It will increases the moisture and lubricant property of an stool. By this moisture and lubricant, by this reason the stool becomes soft and easily expelled, propelled from the body. So, by this way the purgative will shows its action to relieve the constipation. Next one is diarrhea. So, diarrhea, it is an opposite to the constipation. Those are so when you had termed as, when you can term the particular person having constipation, if the particular person is going fewer than 3 times a week, then you can call it as a constipation. According to WHO, if the particular person is going more than 3 times per a day, okay, 3 times or more than 3 times per a day, then the particular person having the diarrhea. To treat the diarrhea, we can use the anti-diarrheal drugs. So, let us see what is the causes, what is the causes of a diarrhea. The causes will be the more like what is the causes of the diarrhea? Infection. Infection is one of the cause for the diarrhea. Okay, infection is one of the cause. Toxins, if any toxins enters in your body, this is also one of the cause to cause the diarrhea. Okay. And there are some drugs like ampicillin, emetine, digitalis, all these drugs will causes the diarrhea. And anxiety, if any particular person having anxiety, in such a condition also it can produces the diarrhea. Okay. So, diarrhea is a frequent passage of liquid stool. So, if particular person is passing the liquid stool frequently, then you can call it as a diarrhea. According to WHO, if any person goes 3 or more times per a day, then the particular person having the diarrhea. So, what are the main causes for diarrhea? Infection is one of the cause, toxins also one of the cause, due to some drugs the diarrhea will be happen. So, how can you treat the diarrhea? The diarrhea will be treated by the replacement of fluids and electrolytes. So, if the particular person having the passage of an liquid stools, so how can you treat the particular person? So, in such a condition you can treat by giving the electrolytes and fluids. Okay. Treatment of any cause. First you have to know the cause, how the diarrhea has been occurred. You have to know about the cause, and according to the cause you can treat the diarrhea, and finally you can give the anti-diarrheal drugs. Next one, treatment of diarrhea. In treatment of diarrhea, so what is the treatment you can give the particular person is facing with diarrhea? So, here you will recommend the You will replace the fluids and electrolytes. What are the fluids and electrolytes you will replace here? Oral rehydration solutions, oral rehydration powders are available in the market. Super ORS is available in the market. And I will explain you what is the difference between the ORS and super ORS. Okay. So, the ORS powders, the ORS, oral rehydration solutions. Okay. The oral rehydrations with sodium chloride, glucose and water is very much helpful to treat the diarrhea. Okay. And nowadays the oral rehydrations are available in the powder forms. In a powder forms, what are the oral rehydrated solutions are available? One is sodium bicarbonate and second one is sodium citrate. Sodium bicarbonate sachets are available, powder forms are available, sodium citrate powder forms are available. But the sodium tricitrate, but the sodium tricitrate powder is used in the place of sodium bicarbonate. Why the sodium citrate powder is used in the place of sodium bicarbonate? Because this citrate will make the ORS more stable. Okay. So, the ORS will available in the powder form, which consists of an sodium bicarbonate and sodium citrate. Among these two, the sodium bicarbonate will be replaced by the sodium citrate is replaced with the sodium bicarbonate, because the citrate, the form will having the more stable in action. The citrate will make the ORS more stable. So, the sodium bicarbonate, in that place we can use the sodium citrate. Okay. In severe dehydration, we will go with the IV. So, intravenous therapy, intravenous rehydration is used to treat the severe diarrhea, and super ORS also available in the market, which consists of amino acid. This amino acid will improve the absorption of sodium and will decreases the diarrhea, but these are very expensive. Okay. Super ORS is a very expensive. The major drawback of super ORS was it is very expensive compared to that of ORS powders. So, okay. So, this is the treatment. How you can treat the diarrhea? By the replacement of fluids and electrolytes. How you will replace the fluids and electrolytes? By giving of an ORS powder. The ORS powders are available in the form with sodium bicarbonate and sodium citrate. Sodium citrate powder is used in the place of sodium bicarbonate, because citrate is a form which can make the ORS more stable. So, if the particular person is not treating with this ORS powder, or any person having the severe diarrhea condition, in such a condition we will go with the IV rehydration. Okay. And we can give the super ORS solution. The super ORS solution consists of an amino acid which is used, this amino acid will increase the absorption of sodium, but these are very expensive to treat the diarrhea. Okay. And these are the drugs which falls under anti-diarrheal drugs. So, what are the anti-diarrheal drugs? Adsorbents and anti-motility drugs. So, these are the drugs which falls under these are the classification of drugs of anti-diarrheals. So, what are the adsorbents? Adsorbents are the drugs which will absorb the intestinal toxins or any other microorganisms. Okay. So, what are the examples comes under adsorbents? Kaolin, pectin, chalk, okay, charcoal, all these are the adsorbents which are used to treat the diarrhea. And second one is anti-motility drugs. Anti-motility drugs. So, if the motility has been increased, so the diarrheal action, the diarrhea will be seen with the increase in motility action. So, here we will use the anti-motility drugs. Here the motility will be decreased by these drugs. So, which drugs will decreases the motility? So, there are such a drugs like opioids, antispasmodic drugs. So, opioids, if I am talking about opioids, codeine is an opioid drug. The codeine can decreases the anti-motility action. Antispasmodic drugs, atropine derivatives, these are the drugs which will decreases the antispasmodic, which will decreases the diarrhea. So, these are the drugs. So, this is the classification of anti-diarrheals. We use the two types of drugs. First one is adsorbents and second one is anti-motility drugs. In anti-motility drugs, we will see the opioid drugs and antispasmodic drugs. In opioid drugs, we will see the codeine is an example, and antispasmodic drugs you can use the atropine derivatives. So, if you are talking about the kaolin, kaolin is a natural component containing of hydrated magnesium and aluminum silicate. So, what the kaolin consists? It is a natural compound. The kaolin is a natural compound. What it contains? It contains of an hydrated magnesium. It contains the hydrated magnesium and aluminum silicate. Okay, it will, what the drugs, how it will shows its mechanism of action, how it will shows its mechanism of action, it decreases the diarrhea. So, the kaolin drug, when you have taken this drug, by its adsorbent property, it will absorb the intestinal toxins and microorganisms by coating on them. Okay, in such a way it will shows the, it will use it to treat the diarrhea. Okay, next one, the drugs like opioid antagonists. These are the drugs, anti-motility drugs. So, this is first drugs which I had explained about. This is the drugs adsorbent. This is the one, adsorbent drugs. Adsorbent drugs are drugs which will absorb the toxins and microorganisms. Okay. And the second one is anti-motility drugs. Anti-motility drugs like opioid agonist drugs. These are the drugs which will decreases the motility. These are the drugs which will decreases the motility. How it will decreases the motility? So, if you see here codeine, codeine is an opioid alkaloid. Okay, codeine is an opium alkaloid. It will stimulate the opioid receptor in the GIT. So, this codeine, if you see this codeine, the codeine receptors are present on the GIT tract. Now, this codeine will stimulate the opioid receptors which are present on the GI muscles. When these GI muscle will get stimulated by this receptor, now the motility action will get decreased. When the decrease in peristalsis is seen, then intestinal content passes also will get decreased. Finally, the absorption of food will get increased in such a way it will shows anti-diarrheal in action. Okay. Next, we will move to the appetite stimulants. In this lecture, this is the last part. What it is? Appetite stimulants. Appetite stimulants. What are the appetite stimulants? Appetite stimulants are the drugs which will stimulate the appetite. So, what is called loss of appetite? The loss of appetite is a common complaint we are seeing nowadays clinically. Okay, loss of appetite you can call as an anorexia. What is the terminology you can what is the terminology you can give the loss of appetite? So, what you can call the loss of appetite? What is the terminology you can call as a loss of appetite? It is an anorexia. Anorexia. What is anorexia? Anorexia is a condition who particular person having the loss of appetite. So, if any person having the loss of appetite or if any person do not having appetite, to increase this appetite we will give the appetite stimulants. These are the drugs which will promote the digestion of any food. So, if particular person, if any person do not having any digestion of food, then how we can get appetite. So, these are the drugs which will work on increasing the gastric which will promote the digestion of any food. So, there are lot of forms available in the market in a combination formulation like proteolytic enzymes, okay, proteolytic enzyme, amylolytic enzyme and lipolytic enzymes. So, these are the enzymes which will promote the digestion of any food. These are available in the market in a combined formulation as well. Okay, by these are the drugs occasionally benefit, but continuously appetite stimulants are the drugs are irrational drugs. Occasionally you can use the appetite stimulants, occasionally these are beneficial, but a long term therapy it is irrational. Mode of action. So, how anti-stimulant drugs will stimulate the appetite, how it will stimulate the appetite. So, here we will see here hypothalamus, it is in a part of any brain which will main regulatory organ for any human appetite. If you am talking about any human appetite, it is any basic regulatory organ, but it is a basic regulatory part of any brain. Which is the basic regulatory part of any brain? Hypothalamus. Hypothalamus is a part of any brain which is the main regulatory organ of any human appetite. So, if I am talking about the serotogenic, but the serotogenic neurons, the neurons that regulate the appetite appears to be the serotogenic. The serotogenic neurons will decreases the appetite. So, these are the serotogenic neurons are responsible to decrease the appetite. These are the drugs which are used as an appetite suppressants. Okay. So, to stimulate the appetite, we can use this appetite by increasing the gastric secretions. So, whatever the drugs you are used to treat as an appetite stimulants, these are the drugs which will increases the gastric acid secretion. I will repeat one more time here. Appetite stimulants mode of action, how it will shows its mode of action. These are the drugs. The main part of a brain was hypothalamus, which is a regulatory organ for appetite, human appetite. So, if I am talking about a neuron like serotonic, it will be appear, it will regulate the neurons that regulate the appetite appear to be the serotonic. Appetite stimulants induce appetite by increasing the gastric acid secretion. By increasing of gastric acid secretions, it can increases the appetite. Decrease in appetite is due to, what is the reason behind why the drugs will show, why the particular person having decrease in appetite? The decrease in appetite is due to because of age. Age is one of the common factor decreasing in appetite, right? Age is one of the factor. Stress, the stress also will decreases the appetite. Chemotherapy is also such a treatment which can decreases the appetite. Okay, food allergens, peptic ulcer, poor health. So, who having the poor health, in such a condition, all these condition will decreases the appetite. Fine. So, these are the drugs. Which are the drugs will reduces the appetite? What are the drugs are going to reduces the appetite? Age, stress, chemotherapy, food, allergens and peptic ulcers. So, all these are the factors that will reduces the appetite. Okay. And appetite stimulants. So, these are the drugs which are used as an appetite stimulants, supplements like vitamins, minerals. Okay, which supplements you can use here? Vitamins, minerals and fish oils. So, second one is synthetic progesterone, megestrol, okay, cannabinoids are also used as an appetite stimulants. Testosterone derivatives also used as an appetite stimulants. Apart from that, you can use the glucocorticoids and 5-HT antagonist drugs. So, 5-HT is responsible for the appetite suppressant. So, serotonin is an appetite suppressant. So, you can use the anti-serotonin drugs also, glucocorticoids. So, these are the drugs which will stimulate the appetite. So, which are the drugs will stimulate the appetite? Supplements, okay, synthetic progesterone drugs, cannabinoids, testosterone derivatives, glucocorticoids, 5-HT antagonists, all these are drugs used to stimulate the appetite. So, in the today class we had discussed about the constipation and the classification, and the drugs comes under the constipation, mode of action. Okay. After that we had discussed about the diarrhea, anti-diarrheal drugs, mode of action of the anti-diarrheal, and then we will move to the appetite stimulants. So, appetite stimulant, what is mean by appetite stimulant? What are the causes for the suppression of an appetite? So, what the particular person having, why the particular person having decrease in appetite, and finally, we had discussed about the few drugs which falls under appetite stimulant. So, this is about the today class. Thank you.